I am truly a veteran of the forgotten quarterback game here on YouTube. As you guys can see, I've made countless videos about forgotten NFL quarterbacks, but today I have a little bit of a special edition because I'm going to call this the modern forgotten NFL quarterback. So what qualifies as modern? Great question. You have to have done something since the year 2015. You didn't have to enter by 2015, you just had to have done something by the year of 2015. So today, ladies and gentlemen, I have three great quarterbacks who I think are absolutely forgotten, and we are going to do them in rank of forgottenness. So the first quarterback on our list is going to be the most well-known, second quarterback on the list is a little less known, and then number three, I bet you do not remember number three. So make sure you stick around, watch the entire video, like, subscribe, join my cult. Welcome back to the Gabe Sayers Believer. We are back with uploads. And ladies and gentlemen, let's jump back into forgotten NFL quarterbacks. You know, as a grumpy old man, it makes me upset when I see people saying, "Oh, I know a forgotten quarterback, Nick Foles," or "Oh, I know a forgotten quarterback, Blake Bortles." Like, those aren't forgotten quarterbacks. You want to hear about a forgotten NFL quarterback? Let's talk about Charlie Whitehurst. So Charlie Whitehurst was born August 6th, 1982 in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and he is a former professional football quarterback known as an NFL journeyman and backup. He got nicknamed Clipboard Jesus due to that long, luscious hair and just a pretty chill sideline demeanor. Whitehurst became a little bit of a cult figure among football fans, despite having a pretty modest career as a starter. Over his decade-long NFL career, he played for 6 NFL teams and, filled a key role as a reliable second stringer with occasional flashes of starting. He had his college career at Clemson University from 2002 to 2005, where he became one of the most statistically successful quarterbacks in school history at the time. He threw for over 9,600 yards and 49 touchdowns, and became the first quarterback to go 4-0 against their arch rival, South Carolina. He had good size at 6'5", 226, and some solid arm strength and some decent poise that made him like a decent NFL prospect, despite some inconsistencies in decision-making and accuracy. So, Whitehurst was selected in the third round of the 2006 draft, number 81 overall by the San Diego Chargers. He was intended to be a developmental backup behind starter Phillip Rivers, though he never took a regular season snap during his first 4 years in San Diego. The Chargers did keep him on the roster, valuing his football IQ and potential, and had some decent presence on the depth chart and helped maintain stability behind Rivers, but, limited opportunities to showcase his talent. He would then go to the Seahawks, and where he had his most significant opportunity, frankly. The Seahawks would trade a second-round pick to grab him in 2010, signaling that they saw him actually as a decent starter, or possible starter. He made his first career start November 7th, 2010 against the Giants, but he struggled badly in a 41-7 loss. He would redeem himself a few weeks later by starting in Week 17 against the Rams, and he led Seattle to a 16-6 win that clinched the NFC West with a 7-9 record. And that victory set up the very famous Beastquake playoff game, though Matt Hasselbeck would return to start that game. Whitehurst remained a backup in 2011, and with limited success in 2 starts, the emergence of Tavares Jackson and the eventual drafting of Russell Wilson marked the end of his time in Seattle. Whitehurst would return to San Diego as a backup for Rivers in 2012 and 2013, though he did not take a single snap during that stint. He remained a trusted veteran, backup, all that, bullshit. In 2014, Whitehurst would sign with the Tennessee Titans and reunited with former Chargers offensive coordinator Ken Whisenhunt, who's now the Titans head coach. This was arguably the most active stretch of his career, and no, I'm not going to say super successful, but decently successful. He played in 7 games and started 5. He threw for 1,300 yards, 7 touchdowns, and 2 picks. While the Titans struggled overall, finishing just 2-14, Whitehurst's play was decently efficient given the team's injuries and lack of offensive firepower. Became a bridge between Jake Locker's final days and the drafting of Marcus Mariota in 2015, and Whitehurst made 1 appearance in 2015 before being released in the mid-season. Then the Colts would sign him both during the 2015 season during Andrew Luck's suffered injuries, and he appeared in 4 games, starting 1, and threw for 150 yards before injuring his hamstring later in the year. He was eventually placed on IR. And then finally, he made his final stop at the NFL hell, and I mean the Cleveland Browns, especially in 2016. 2016 obviously plagued by major quarterback issues, and he came in during a blowout against the Patriots in Week 5. and he famously threw one of his last NFL passes in a game where Tom Brady returned from suspension, which is wonderful. Whitehurst would injure his knee during that game and was just released shortly after. So, career stats: he would play in 25 games, started 9, had 2,400 passing yards, and an 11-8 touchdown interception ratio with a 55% completion rating and a passer rating of 74.9. You know, chill, modest numbers, somewhat efficient. You know what? He carved out a long career as a backup. He was intelligent, he was prepared, he was chill, seen as clipboard Jesus, and he didn't start many games, but I still qualify him as a modern forgotten quarterback because he played after the year 2015. That's like my cusp. I don't know if you're a modern forgotten quarterback. After retiring, he kept a pretty relatively low profile, and he's known for his interest in music and art, and he spent time away from the game. Ironically enough, he doesn't like the name Clipboard Jesus, and he said that in an interview, and I think it's kind of ironic because, like, dude, it's your only claim to fame. I mean, you gotta kind of deal with it, right? You want to be, like, remembered for something, right? Next on our list, ladies and gentlemen, is Luke McCown. And Luke McCown was born July 12th, 1981 in Jacksonville, Texas, and is a former American football quarterback who played 13 seasons in the NFL from 2004 to 2016. Known as a smart and decently athletic guy, and had a team-first mentality. So he would start his college career at Louisiana Tech, and he played there, throwing 12,666 passing yards with 87 touchdowns. Became one of the most statistically accomplished quarterbacks in that school's history. And he was known for being accurate and mobile, had some good leadership traits, and it made him an intriguing mid-round prospect. Nobody's expecting this guy to be the number 1 pick, but decent little mid-round prospect. And it also didn't hurt that he was the younger brother of fellow NFL quarterback Josh McCown, and the two shared overlapping NFL careers, and it helped give the McCowns a little bit of a funny legacy in the NFL. Now, of course, he was selected to quarterback hell, the Cleveland Browns, in 2004 in the 4th round of the draft, 106th overall. As a rookie, he was thrusted into action much earlier than expected due to injuries to starter Jeff Garcia, and he started in 4 games in 2004. And you know what? He showed some flashes of competence, but, typical rookie quarterback shit, made some mistakes and all that good stuff. And his tenure in Cleveland was actually, frankly, brief, as the team went in a different direction at quarterback the following season. McCown was traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 2005, and though he missed most of that year due to a torn ACL, he would return to the field in 2007 when starting quarterback, guess who, Jeff Garcia, was injured. And that season, McCown delivered a notable performance and a comeback win over the Saints, showcasing some poise and mobility. Over the next few years, McCown served as a reserve, an occasional spot starter in a crowded QB room that included Garcia, Chris Sims, and later Josh Johnson. I love Josh Johnson. His highlight came in 2007 when he started 3 games and helped Tampa secure a playoff berth, and while never being a full-time starter, he became known as a dependable, break-the-glass in case of emergency kind of guy. Solid when you needed him, but let's not act like, McCown was going to fucking do anything crazy for you. McCown would then sign with the Jacksonville Jaguars in 2009, primarily backing up David Garrard. I love David Garrard. And in 2011, he began the season as a starter following the release of Garrard, but struggled in 2 starts and was replaced by rookie Blaine Gabbert. That's fucking foreshadowing right there, baby. That intro was fucking foreshadowing. And though his performance in Jacksonville was mixed, his professionalism and willingness to mentor young quarterbacks earned him some praise from the coaches and teammates alike. Then in 2012 and 2013, McCown would serve as Matt Ryan's backup in Atlanta for 2 seasons and saw 0 fucking action. His time in Atlanta, solidified that he can go into new places, be professional, blah, 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 be a decent human being. But here comes, the cool part. Then he joined the Saints and spent the final years of his career as Drew Brees' primary backup. He made one notable start in Week 3 of the 2015 season when Brees was injured against the Carolina Panthers. McCown went 31 of 38 for 310 yards, and was honestly a fucking really solid performance and a narrow 27-22 loss. Despite the defeat, McCown's precision and composure earned him some decent respect. He hadn't started a game in 4 years, but still was able to come in and play pretty damn well. He would remain on the roster through 2016, and he was often praised by the Saints coaches and players for his mentorship and deep knowledge of Sean Payton's offensive system. That would mark the end of McCown's NFL career. He would play in 62 games, but only start 10. Would have 2,300 passing yards and had a 9-15 touchdown interception ratio, which kind of sucks. 60% completion percentage is okay. That's solid. With a 78 passer rating. And, wasn't a great NFL career, but you know what? He lasted as a backup, proved he was reliable, and teams wanted him to help mentor young guys. I think that's pretty cool. He was always ready. He was stable, and he was humble. So, playing under 9 different head coaches and 6 different teams, he was able to learn new systems. He was a pretty dynamic guy. After retiring, he was settled down in Louisiana with his wife and kids, and remains involved in youth sports and occasionally appeared as a guest on football podcasts and shit like that. He's a religious guy, which is cool. And, McCown, maybe not as good as his brother, maybe not as famous as his brother, but hey, fuck it. He was good enough, right? Finally, on our list is probably the most forgotten quarterback on this entire list, and I'm talking about Alex Tanney. Alex Tanney was born November 11th, 1987 in Lexington, Illinois, and is a former American football quarterback, and he's actually a current NFL coach. Known for his improbable journey from D3 football to an 8-year NFL career, he went from undrafted to actually playing in NFL games, which is honestly pretty badass to be D3 and playing in the NFL. So, big props to this guy. I played high school football at Lexington High School before committing to Monmouth College in Illinois, a D3 program, and he just smashed all their record books. Over his career, threw for over 14,000 yards, 157 touchdowns, and broke a bunch of NCAA D3 records at the time. And he was fucking killing people on the D3 scale. And despite suffering a season-ending injury in 2010, he would return in 2011 to post another standout campaign and became one of the best, probably the fucking best, in that school's history. So now we're going to talk about his career. He went undrafted in the 2012 drafts, but he signed with the Kansas City Chiefs as a rookie free agent, but was released due to injury, but became a minor internet sensation when a 2011 trick shot video showing him making elaborate and impossible throws went viral. That video helped boost his visibility, and teams saw him as a high IQ passer with the potential to develop into a decent little backup. So here comes the journeyman start. Between 2013 and 2015, Tanney would spend time with a bunch of NFL teams, but he's often on practice squads, not really doing anything. Most notably, he was Tony Romo's backup in training camp and starred in the preseason, though he was waived before the season began. But he showed flashes of a strong decision-making and quick release. Ready? Browns, Bucks, Titans, and Texans followed in each stop, and he seemed like a decent player at all these, and had grasp of the playbooks, but just could not stay active on game days. But the Tennessee Titans, this is where it gets fun. Tanney would see his first NFL regular season actions with the Titans in Week 17 of the 2015 season against the Colts. With multiple injuries decimating the Titans' quarterback depth, Tanney was forced into action, and he threw his first and only NFL touchdown pass that game. A short toss to Dorial Green backup. Yo, who remembers that guy? That guy was pretty decent, never great, but I always thought he was going to be good because of the Beckham last name, especially during that time where OBJ was on the rise. But he finished with 99 passing yards and a passer rating of 109.2, which is fucking actually really solid. Though the Titans lost, Tanney's performance was a feel-good moment, validating years of hard work. Now, if you know anything about how I make these videos and how I run my system, to qualify for this video, specifically this video you need to play after 2015, but specifically to even qualify for any of my forgotten players videos, you need to score at least 1 touchdown if you're on offense. That's like how I do it. So whether quarterback, running back, wide receiver, you have to score at least 1 touchdown on offense to qualify for these kinds of videos. And there was his touchdown. He would remain with the Titans through 2018, mostly on the practice squad or as a third-string quarterback behind Marcus Mariota. And he's always known for being prepared, helping the starter and offensive coordinator week to week, even when not dressed for games. He would actually then go join the Giants in 2018 and would go on to have his longest stint on a single team. He served as a backup to Eli Manning and Daniel Jones, becoming a trusted presence in the quarterback room, and got praised by the coaching staff for leadership, football IQ, blah, blah, blah. I'm a backup, I don't do shit, stuff like that. Didn't see any fucking game action in New York and only appeared in 1 game during his time. But, Tanney would remain on the roster due to his mastery of the playbook. He knew what the fuck he was doing. And he was released in 2020, but later re-signed that season as injuries mounted. So he would play in 2 games, had 1 touchdown and 0 picks, 99 passing yards, and a passer rating of 109.2. Despite minimal game action, it honestly is kind of an overachievement given his D3 background and journeyman trajectory. And then he transitioned into coaching. He would retire in 2021 and quickly move to the coaching. That same year, he joined the Eagles as an offensive quality control coach, and his ascent was rapid. By 2023, Tanney was promoted to quarterbacks coach and passing game coordinator here under coach Nick Sirianni. He's done some great work with Jalen Hurts during the Eagles Super Bowl run in the 2022 season, and he's earned some league-wide praise, known for being intelligent, calm, and really prepared throughout all this bullshit. You know, the legacy of Alex Tanney will probably be greater known as a coach, but this dude was in the NFL, and the fact that he was able to throw an NFL touchdown pass coming from a D3 program and having a decently long NFL career, that's pretty impressive. I'll give him some kudos there. And you know what? Even though his backup career isn't as famous as someone like Chase Daniel, or his backup career isn't as famous as someone like Joe Webb, even though I did put Joe Webb in a forgotten video, but if you forgot Joe Webb, you're a fucking bum. You know, he is still a solid NFL backup, and the fact that he was able to play after being D3, that's impressive. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the end of the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please make sure you drop a sub, drop a like, give me a comment, talk about some other forgotten quarterbacks in the comments. Now, you probably heard me going on blabbing about the foreshadowing of Blaine Gabbert and all that stuff, and the reason I brought that up is because if we can get this video to 1,000 views, I'll be doing another forgotten NFL quarterback video, and Blaine Gabbert will be the first quarterback on the list. Man, I love Blaine Gabbert, and I love talking about Blaine Gabbert. I don't know why. I've always liked Blaine Gabbert. I would always trade for him as my backup quarterback in Madden franchises. I don't know why. I'm kind of connected to weird players like that. I think I should probably do another weird video of NFL players I just like because of Madden franchise, and I'd always trade for them. It's going to be some really random players though. I am totally warning you guys. So, we'll see if that video ever gets made. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys again so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please leave me some feedback in the comments. If you're a fan of professional wrestling, make sure you go to TF Crew. That is a channel in the description. That is my professional wrestling company. Go to my Instagram. Help me keep grinding out them followers. We just hit 2,000 on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave me a comment. I will see you guys again very, very soon. And most importantly, smoke crack and eat drywall. I will see you guys again very, very shortly.